أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اجعلنا منهم ومن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل القرآن يا أرحم الراحمين. ثم أما بعد, once again, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Well, it's a real honor to be here and to coming over to Plano, which feels like I hit it off into a tradition. Alhamdulillah, I live in Euless, which might as well be the distance of Mexico from here. But that's okay. Alhamdulillah, I really enjoy coming here. I make lots of dua for your community. And actually, it's pretty awesome that every time I come here, this community grows exponentially. It's getting bigger and bigger. So I make lots of dua that Allah keeps your hearts united and brings a lot of good from this community and all the projects that are going on here. And that especially the youth of this community are leaders, of the future leaders of this community in every aspect of their lives. What I wanted to share with you this evening, inshallah ta'ala, is something that I personally felt we don't talk enough about and we don't actually give enough importance to. In my estimation, my own view in the study of the Quran is that when Allah Azza wa Jalla gives something a lot of importance, then we should give it a lot of importance. And Laylatul'Qader, we know that Laylatul'Qader is important. It's a night of ibadah. We should seek it in the odd nights. We know these things about Laylatul'Qader. But in my personal, this is my own opinion, I don't impose it on anybody else. In my personal opinion, I don't think we give enough time and importance and discussion to how Allah talks about Laylatul'Qader in the Quran. And the fact that Allah even dedicated an entire surah of the Quran just to Laylatul'Qadr means it's a very, very important thing. And this guidance to humanity, can we move it up? No. That happens. Okay. So this guidance to humanity that Allah Azza wa Jal gave, every single ayah of it is worth more than everything in the world. And when Allah decides to give an entire surah just to this subject, even though this night is not only talked about in Surah Al-Qadr, for example, in Surah Al-Dukhan, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ مُبَارَكَةٍ إِنَّا كُنَّا مُنذِرِينَ فِيهَا يُفْرَقُ كُلُّ أَمْرٍ حَكِيمٍ أَمْرًا مِنْ عِنْدِنَا إِنَّا كُنَّا مُرْسِلِينَ رَحْمَةً مِنْ رَبِّكَ إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. There's multiple ayat in even Surah Al-Dukhan dedicated to Laylatul Qadr, specifically to Laylatul Qadr. So I wanted to at least take some time and some effort in trying to contemplate and reflect on the benefits of the ayat of the Quran that deal with this incredible night and how serious a matter it is in the life of a Muslim. It's not just one of those nights that, see if you can take advantage of it and gain some ajr. No. It's far more serious than that. It's far bigger than that. So what I'm going to try to do in this talk, inshallah ta'ala, is first and foremost highlight the smaller things. I'll start with the smaller things and then work my way up to the most important things. So hopefully by the end of this talk, what I'm going to talk to you about is the meanings of the word Qadr itself. Laylatul'Qadr. What does Qadr itself mean? That will be by the end of this conversation. So throughout this discussion and some reflections on these ayat of Laylatul'Qadr, I will actually purposely not translate Qadr yet. I'll leave it alone until the very end, inshallah ta'ala, so we can have a fruitful conversation about that and put everything in perspective. So we begin, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr. In this surah, Allah Azza wa Jal began by referring to Himself, saying, no doubt about it, we, inna anzalnahu, we in fact sent it down, inna anzalnahu, the dhamir, the word who goes back to the Quran. But Allah did not say Allah sent the Quran in Laylatul Qadr, in the night of Qadr. He didn't say that. He said, no doubt we, so he used, instead of using the word Allah, he used the word we. And secondly, instead of using the word Quran, what word did he use instead? It. We sent it down in the night of Al-Qadr. I'm not even translating night of power yet. I'm going to leave it alone as Qadr. So let's try to understand the benefit of we and then it. First, let's talk about the word we. Allah Azza wa Jal in the Quran speaks in multiple persons. Sometimes He uses the word I for Himself, Ana. وَأَنَا التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ كَمَا يَقُولُ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى. Sometimes He uses the word He. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. No doubt about it, He is the ultimately exceedingly forgiving. He is the one that always loves and cares. هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Sometimes He uses the word Allah itself. وَاللَّهُ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. وَاللَّهُ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. Allah is exceedingly forgiving, etc., etc. And then many cases in the Quran, Allah uses the word nahnu, we, for Himself, describing Himself. What you have to understand, I'm not going to give you a whole lecture on just the use of the word we, but just a brief comment. And that is the difference between I and we are first person, you is second person, and he is third person. Like first person, second person, and third person. If you don't understand that, it's very simple. When you say I and we, you are speaking on your own behalf. When you say you are talking to someone else. When you're saying he, I'm not talking to someone, I am talking about someone. Is that clear? Okay, now listen. When Allah Azza wa Jalla uses he, then we are not talking to Allah, we are talking about Allah. We are reciting the ayah, we're talking about Allah Azza wa Jalla. In any language, in general language, when you use the word he or she or they, then this third person actually suggests that the one you are talking about is far away. If they were close to you, you would not use he, you would use you. You understand? So the word he suggests distance. At-tab'id, they say in Arabic. If you use the word you, we use this in the Quran. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ أَنْتَ عَلَّامُ الْغُيُوبِ. When we say anta or you, when we're talking to Allah. When you talk to Allah, what does it suggest? That you are close. This is how Allah teaches us to make dua. Every time you have a dua in the Quran, we don't refer to Allah in the third person. We don't say Allah forgive, we say you forgive. إِنَّكَ عَفُوٌ تُحِبُّ. Even though it's a dua from hadith. Regardless, we talk to Allah when we make dua. That's second person. So when Allah decides to talk to us and describe His closeness to us, then He uses the first person. Instead of using Allah gave the Quran, Allah sent the Quran down, He says, we sent it down. Now the moment you hear we sent it down, just like if I'm talking to you, I say, I did this. Who's talking to you right now? I am. If Allah is saying we sent it down, who's talking to you directly now? Allah Azza wa Jalla is. In other words, this night, the first thing you need to know is, we are hoping that we have a conversation with Allah in this night. But Allah introduced this surah by saying, He's the one who started the conversation. He started talking to us directly. He did not say Allah, the distant name. Allah sent down the Quran. He said, we sent it down. We're ready to talk to you. We're already in the conversation. SubhanAllah. And there's the inna there. لِإِزَالَةِ الشَّكِّ. No doubt about it, the conversation has already begun. Remarkable. SubhanAllah. Then He says, we sent it down. Let's talk about this word it a little bit. I said the word it refers to what? What does it refer to? The Quran. Why not just say we sent the Quran down? This is called ضمير الشأن, ضمير الضخم in Arabic. What they say is, when you know what it is, it doesn't have to be spelled out. Let me give you an example. There's a new movie comes out. All the guys in your school are going to watch it. You didn't go see it yet. The next day they come to you and say, hey, did you watch it? Did you watch it? They don't say, did you watch the movie? They don't say, did you watch the game? They just say, did you watch it? Why? Because everybody knows what it is. Everybody's talking about it. It is the most important thing, the most popular thing, the most intense thing, the most happening thing that's happening at the moment. So everybody just refers to it as it. Did you watch it? Did you see it? Did you download it? Did you hear it yet? Did you go to it? Yo, you know about it? You don't know about it? Oh man. Oh, somebody's gonna tell you. The word it suggests that everybody already what? Knows. Everybody already knows. Now we know that Laylatul'Qader is when in the month of Ramadan? In the beginning, middle, or end? It's at the end. Now listen to this. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah Azza wa Jalla introduced us to the month of Ramadan. And He said, شَهْرُ رَمَضَانَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ فِيهِ الْقُرْآنِ. فذكر القرآن صراحة. He mentioned the Quran directly. He said the month of Ramadan is the one in which the Quran came down. He did not say the month of Ramadan is the one in which it came down. He didn't say it, he said what? Quran. But in Laylatul'Qader, he said not Quran, but just it. You know why? When Allah introduced us to the month of Ramadan, please listen to this carefully. I hope I can explain this to you in clear language. When we are being introduced to Ramadan, it is as though we are also being introduced to the Quran itself. Every Muslim, even if you're a hafiz of the Quran, a alim of the Quran, you recite the Quran every single day, when Ramadan comes, you have to pretend that you don't know anything about the Quran, and you are going to start all over again. All over again. That is why in the ayah that talks about Ramadan, Allah actually gave us a full introduction to the Quran. الَّذِي أُنزِلَ فِيهِ الْقُرْآنِ هُدًى لِلنَّاسِ وَبَيِّنَاتٍ مِنَ الْهُدَى وَالْفُرْقَانِ. Oh my God. Allah said it's the month in which the Quran came down. Then He said it's guidance for humanity. Then He said it's got clear proofs and miracles. And it's got the distinguishing between the right and the wrong. This is an ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah was revealed, 13 plus years since the Prophet's mission began, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Think about this. There are some Sahaba who have been Muslim for 13 years. Majority of the Quran has already been revealed. 2/3 or more has already come down. And now Allah finally says Quran is guidance for humanity. And Quran is the way to distinguish between right and wrong. Wait, don't the Muslims already know that? They know that or no? It's been 13 years. This is a basic definition, isn't it? Why are we being given that basic definition in the month of Ramadan? Because Allah is teaching us you have to start completely fresh in the month of Ramadan like you've never heard the Quran before. You got to start again. We become fresh students again. It's a refresher for us and the book of Allah. SubhanAllah. Now when you got introduced in the very beginning of Ramadan, it's been 20 days. Now the odd nights are beginning. Hopefully by now you have been introduced to the Quran. So you don't have to be told the Quran. You are told we sent it down. Because by now you should have become familiar. Your own maturing with the relationship with the Quran is in the word Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul'Qader. SubhanAllah. Allah expects from you and me that in the first 20 days of Ramadan, something matured in you and me. We learned more about the Quran. We fell in more love with the Quran. We recited more of the Quran. So much so that when you say it, we already think only Quran. That's what we think. Ramadan was not about fasting. Ramadan was about the Quran. Fasting was secondary. Quran was primary, according to the Quran. Fasting is there, but it's not the primary. In fact, fasting is only done as a celebration of the Quran itself. It's actually the celebration of Quran that we fast. Well, a lot of people think of Ramadan, they only think of fasting. Not correct? That's not what Allah revealed. He didn't say, شَهْرُ رَمَضَانَ الَّذِي تَصُومُونَ فِيهِ. شهر Ramadan, the month of Ramadan is the one you fast in it. No. The month of Ramadan is the one in which Quran came down. And later on, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ. Therefore, whoever sees the month, they should fast. Therefore. What's therefore for? You say the word therefore when there's a reason. I did this, therefore you should do this. I gave you Quran in this month, therefore you should fast. So now we know the reason for which we fast. We are celebrating the coming down of the Quran. This is Inna anzalnahu. We're up to here now. Then he says, Fi Laylatul'Qader. We sent it down in the night of Qadr. Still not translated. So the Quran came down in one night. The Quran, the revelation began in one night. You know, isn't it beautiful that this surah, Surah Al-Qadr, right before it is Surah Al-Alaq. Surah Al-Alaq begins, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Iqra' bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, khalaqa al-insana min 'alaq. Anybody know anything about this surah? You know anything about this surah at all? Anybody heard anything? Tell me. First surah. First surah that came down, Surah Al-Alaq, the first ayat of Surah Al-Alaq. And in the next surah, Allah is telling us, when did that happen? It happened in Laylatul'Qader. SubhanAllah. Now Allah is telling, because we just learned the first revelation, and now Allah is telling us, by the way, that one night, when this revelation began, when Angel Jibreel came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Quran began to come down, all of that happened in Laylatul'Qader. And Laylatul'Qader is one of the odd nights of the month of Ramadan. And this one night is so powerful, that you cannot actually appreciate this one night by doing worship or one night, so the entire month will have to become special. Even though, when Allah says the Quran came down in Ramadan, it did not come down in the 30 days of Ramadan. It came down in one of the nights of Ramadan. Which one?
Laylatul'Qader. But that night is so powerful that Allah, instead of giving us one day of fasting, instead of doing that, He turned that entire month into the month of the Quran. Entire month. This is from the barakat of Laylatul'Qadr, actually. As a matter of fact, the entirety of Ramadan, the entire 30 days, 29, 30 days of Ramadan are only celebrated because of Laylatul'Qadr. It's because of Laylatul'Qadr that we have the rest of the days of Ramadan. SubhanAllah. So if we don't care about this night, it's like we don't care about Ramadan itself. Because the entire thing, the entire entity of Ramadan was there because of Laylatul'Qadr. We just think it's one of the nights. No. It's the seed that gave this entire tree. This whole thing came from Laylatul'Qadr. SubhanAllah. Then Allah says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. What would give you any clue what Laylatul'Qadr is? وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ. Let me tell you something about the word adra. Adra usually in Arabic is to give somebody the least amount of clue. Like if I know someone really, really well in Arabic, I say أَعْلَمُهُ. When I know them very well, أَعْلَمُهُ. When I know them enough, I'm familiar with them, أعرفه. I'm familiar with them, أعرفه. I know a little bit about him, أدريه. أدريه means I know a little bit about him. I don't know everything, I know kind of some sort of something about him. This is أدريه. If you have no clue at all, if you have no clue, somebody talks to you in Arabic, they start talking to you, كيف حالك, من أين تعيش في سليلة لا, and you're like, I'm from Punjab, dude, I don't. The first thing you can say to them is لا أدري. Al-Arabi. I don't have a clue about Arabic, dude. I don't know nothing. La adri. Adri means you don't have the slightest clue. Allah says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Laylatul'Qadr. What would give you the slightest clue what Laylatul'Qadr is? This language is used in the Quran multiple times. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا سَقَرَ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْحُطَمَةُ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ. And there are multiple ayat, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة. This is used many times in the Quran. And it's used usually, and every time Allah asks this question, He answers the question Himself. You had no way of knowing what the answer to this question. There was nothing that could even give you a little bit of a clue. Nothing could give you even a little bit of a clue. You know what that means? That what Allah will tell you in the next ayah is not the whole information, it's just a little clue. You are not capable of handling the whole information. You can only handle a little bit. You ever heard of the term, you're on a need-to-know basis? You're on a need-to-know basis, right? So you are not classified enough. You don't have the high-level clearance enough to know the full information. You can only be told, because you're a human being, you can't handle more than this. You are told a little bit that you can handle. So Allah says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْحُطَمَةُ. What would give you any clue what hutama is? You know what hutama in Arabic? When something is under your feet, like you go in the parking lot, there are some leaves on the ground that are crushed, and they're so small pieces you don't even notice. You walk over it, do you notice or no? You don't notice. When you step over something, you don't even notice. That's called hutam. One of the names of Jahannam is hutam. Hutama. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْحُطَمَةُ. Allah Himself answers, Laylatul'Qader. The fire of Allah that's been lit up. The fire of Allah. Meaning that fire isn't just something that burns. It's also something that crushes. You know, fire in this world, it doesn't have a weight. Fire does not have a weight. It just burns something. But the fire in Jahannam actually has a weight. And so much weight that it crushes the people in it like we crush leaves of grass when we walk. Or leaves and stubble when we walk and we don't even notice. That's how insignificant the people are under this hutama. But even that is not the full information. That's just to give you a little bit of a clue. Just a little bit of a clue, because you can't handle more than that. Now with that in mind, Allah says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Laylatul'Qadr. What would give you any clue what Laylatul'Qadr actually is? There's the night of Qadr, you cannot possibly know. So what Allah is going to tell us is going to be just a small clue. It's not the full picture of Laylatul'Qadr. It is just a small bit that you can appreciate. It is just a trailer, a teaser. A small snippet. Imagine that there's a giant treasure, a huge treasure, and they don't open the whole gate so you can see the whole thing. They let you look at it through a little tiny hole. And when you see through a hole like this, how much of the treasure you see? Just this little bit. And you say, oh my God, that's amazing! Oh, I've seen the most incredible thing. Did you see the whole thing? No, if you saw the whole thing, you would go psycho, you would be in a hospital somewhere, in a psychiatric ward, because you would go nuts. You wouldn't be able to handle it. So Allah gave us what we can handle. And He said, Laylatul'Qader khayrun min alfi shahr. The night of Al-Qadr is better than 1,000 months. This much you can handle. By the way, listen carefully. Allah did not say the night of Al-Qadr is equal to 1,000 months. He didn't say it's the same as 1,000 months. He said it is better. Khayrun min. Become hiya khayr. How much better? Did He tell us? No. You can't handle it. He just give you a little bit. Just a little bit. So you don't say, well, if you do one good deed in Laylatul'Qader, it is like you did worship for 83 years. More than 83 years of worship. No. That's just, it's better than that. And we don't even know how much better. We have no clue how much better. Some ulama commenting on Laylatul'Qader say, for example, if we, and I pray that Allah Azza wa Jalla helps us find Laylatul'Qadr in this month, and we don't give up yet. We keep going until it's over, you know. So if we find this layla, if we find this night, then they say if you pray 2 rak'ah, for example, 2 rak'ah takes you how long? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Okay, if the Qari Sahib is in a good mood, 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes. Alright, fine. But those 2 rak'ahs of this night are better than, like everything you do in this night is better than how much? 1,000 months. No. That means more than 83 years? At least. That's the minimum. That's not the maximum, that is the minimum. Okay. That means if you were standing in front of Allah for 83 years, without a break, without food, without sleep, for 83 years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you were standing in front of Allah, doing ibadah for 1,000 months. That is not the same as those 15 minutes. It's not the same as those 2 rak'ahs. What we do, everything we do in this land is multiplied by 1,000. Not the whole night, everything in it. Laylatul'Qader khayrun min alfi shahr. That's the value. This is not even the most important part of this discussion. I told you I'll give you the extras first. These are the extras, not the central discussion. The central discussion is what is Qadr itself. That's the central discussion. Now, Allah says, Laylatul'Qader khayrun min alfi shahr. Then He says, تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. The angels come down. When something comes down in the Arabic language, you say tanzil. Tanzil. Nuzul. You don't necessarily say tanazzul. That's not a normal word to use. Tanazzul is used when there is special effort made for someone to come down. In other words, Allah gives special instructions to the angels. This is not just any normal, they're coming down like you come down the stairs. No. That's tanzil. But tanazzul is when you are told to come down. It took a lot of effort for you to come down, meaning angels were on a mission on this night. Tanazzalul malaika. Angels start coming down. But Allah did not say tatanazzalul malaika. There's a hafq ta. There's a ta missing here. And that, you know what that suggests? It's only one night. It's only one night. So you know, if the angels were coming down every night in this number, then there would be a larger word used that would have been tatanazzalu al-malaika. Allah is giving that for us to understand that there's a sense of urgency. This is a limited opportunity, take advantage of it. The limited sense of the opportunity is captured inside the word tanazzalu al-malaika as opposed to tatanazzalu al-malaika. But Allah didn't just say the angels come down. He said وَالْرُوحِ. The angels come down and a ruh also comes down. Who is a ruh? Jibreel alayhi salam. Now listen to this carefully. The first time the Quran came down, it came through Jibreel alayhi salam. Every year, Laylatul'Qader is the anniversary of that first landing. And because that first landing was not just any angel, it was which angel? Jibreel alayhi salam, and behind him, muta'in thamma amin. He's got a following of all the other angels. He's the general. He comes down and all the other army of angels come down. Every year, as part of this celebration of the Quran, Jibreel alayhi salam, Rasulullah's teacher, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, comes down. This is the teacher of Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he is closer to us than ever this time. It's not enough that the angels have come down. That's not enough. the teacher of Quran to humanity. There are two Rasul, there are two messengers of Allah when it comes to the Quran. The first Rasulullah is Jibreel alayhi salam. And the second Rasulullah is Rasulullah Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It comes from one Rasul to the next Rasul. Even the messenger has his own Rasul that he has to believe in. This is why Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ ذِي قُوَّةٍ عِنْدَ ذِي الْعَرْشِ مَكِينٍ مُطَاعٍ ثَمَّ أَمِينٍ. Then he talks about the second Rasul, وَمَا صَاحِبُكُمْ مَجْنُونَ. This is the word. This word has been given to a noble Rasul, Jibreel alayhi salam, who has a lot of might. He's an incredibly powerful angel, whose office, whose station is right under the arsh. You know, and he's got a massive following. He never travels alone. You know when a general travels? A general never travels alone. Who goes with the general? The army's security detail, even though he doesn't need no security. You know, people need security from Jibreel alayhi salam. You know, you don't need, you know, his angels, when he spreads his wings, you don't see the sky. وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ بِالْأُفُقِ الْمُبِينِ. He saw him take over the entire sky, and that wasn't even all of Jibreel alayhi salam. Some narrations say that was just one wing of his 70,000 wings that covered the entire sky. And those who couldn't see the sky, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That Jibreel alayhi salam comes down in this night. That Jibreel alayhi salam. That same Jibreel alayhi salam that spoke to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and asked him, what is Islam? What is Iman? What is Ihsan? And the Sahaba saw a man dressed in white with no dirt on him. And they said, who was that? Who was that? Who's asking the messenger a question? Who's going to be a teacher to the messenger? What is this going on? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then they realized that after Rasulullah told them that was Jibreel who came to teach you your deen alayhi salam. That same Jibreel alayhi salam is close to us tonight. Is close to us one of these nights. He's close to us. Why did he come? He came to teach Quran. And he came to make sure that the student learned. Who was his student? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah is done learning. Who's left to learn? We are. So who's he coming to check? How much Quran are we learning? How much Quran are we reciting? Allah sends his angel. Allah sends the angel of Quran, the angel of revelation, to us every single year. SubhanAllah. تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالْرُوحُ فِيهَا بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ. By the permission of their master, they come down. They come down and they descend. And they come down مِنْ كُلِّ أَمْرٍ. They come down with every kind of decision. This is not just the night of revelation where Allah Azza wa Jalla decided to give us the Quran. This is also the night where everything is decided. Your rizq for the whole year is decided. Who will start a business? Whose business is going to succeed? Who's going to have a baby? Who's going to have twins? Who's going to get married? Who's going to become a grandfather? Who's going to become a grandmother? All of those decisions are sent down tonight. The most important decision was the guidance for humanity. When that decision came tonight, every other decision is small compared to that, so that they come true. From every possible decision, having to do with any decision, it comes down tonight. Now this incredible language, Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. Listen, at the end, Allah Azza wa Jalla, when He gave us تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. There are multiple ways of reading this. So I'll explain those multiple ways to you, inshallah. The first one is what I just explained to you. The angels come down along with Jibreel alayhi salam with all kinds of decisions. All manner of decisions. Which is why our dua, by the way, on that note, I just will finish that point. On that note, that this night, or these nights, Laylatul'Qader nights, your dua can change how your year will be. Did you know that? If you make the right kinds of dua in this night, if you find Laylatul'Qader and make the right kinds of dua in this night, then what will happen to you in this year in terms of your rizq, in terms of your health, in terms of your marriage, in terms of your children, in terms of your personal life, in terms of your emotional state, your depression, your anger, whatever it is, whatever's bothering you, all of that can be solved with your dua in this night. Dua can change how things are going to work in your life. You know, Nuh alayhi salam taught his people, and he told Allah that he did his lesson. He said, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا. SubhanAllah. He says said, I told the people, Istaghfiru rabbakum. Make istighfar of your Rabb. All you have to do, if you don't do any other dua, if you don't ask for money, you don't ask for children, you don't ask for Jannah, you don't ask for nothing. You just ask Allah for forgiveness. If you just ask Allah for that, watch what happens. قُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. No doubt about it. He forgives over and over and over again. يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. Notice, يُرْسِلِ. يُرْسِلِ is a kasra on the lam. You know what that means? It is majzoom, it's jawab al-talab. Means if you make istighfar to Allah, then as a result of that, Allah will start raining the sky on you. يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. In this ayah we are learning, it only rains because people make istighfar. If people in the world, if everybody stopped making istighfar, there's no more rain. There's no more rain. And when there's no more rain, there's no more farm, there's no more this. There's no more groceries at the grocery store. There's no more animals. There's no more food. There's no more life on this earth. Life on this earth continues because people are making istighfar. And Allah says about the person, and Nuh alayhi salam told them, you make istighfar. Just make istighfar. The first thing that will happen, يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. وَلَمْ يَقُلْ يُرْسِلِ الْمَطَرَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. He didn't say He will send rain on you. He said He'll send the sky on you, pouring the sky on you. What in the world does that mean? I was expecting Allah to say, if you make istighfar, He will send the rain on you. Why did He say as-sama? Because He will not just send you rain. He will send you guidance. He will send you rizq. He will send you health. He will send you a better life. He will send you every gift you can think of that is up there with Him in His treasure if you just make what? Istighfar. Istighfar. And if you catch this night and you make istighfar, then at least 83 years are covered. What an insurance policy. يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. Then He said, وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. That's not enough. The sky starts opening its treasures on you, and they keep pouring, pouring, and they don't even stop. You just made istighfar, and they keep on coming. And then He said, Allah will extend your means. يُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. He will extend you in terms of your children, in terms of your money and your children. Let me tell you what maddul amwal and maddul banin means. What does it mean to extend in terms of money and extend in terms of children? You see, sometimes our money is not the best thing that happened to us, it's the worst thing that happened to us. Sometimes our children, who are supposed to be a source of our happiness, are the only source of our sadness. That happens. There are children who rebel. There are sons who go away, never look back. There are daughters who rebel. There is money that only caused more problems in the family. Actually, the vast majority of the problems that I've seen in the family have to do with money. They just have to do with money. In other words, there's money, but it's not making you any better. It's not helping you at all. It's only giving you problems. Before the money, things were okay. After the money, everything's a problem. You know? Allah says, if you make istighfar to Allah, Allah will extend the goodness that comes from your money. And Allah will extend the goodness that comes from your children. I didn't even have to make dua for my rizq. Allah, I didn't even have to make dua for my children. I just had to do what first? Istighfar. Allah took care of everything else. يُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. And why are you so worried? وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا. Allah says, I will provide for you gardens, and I will provide for you rivers. وَهَذَا يَدُلُّ عَلَى الدُّنْيَا وَكَذَلِكَ عَلَى الْآخِرَةِ كما قال بعض المفسرين. This ayah, He will give you gardens, and He will give you rivers. Allah did not say in Jannah, which means He can give you gardens. You want one nice front yard, you want front porch, you want a nice backyard. Allah didn't give you one nice backyard. Allah says, I'll give you lots of those. Forget swimming pool, I'll give you rivers. I'll give you rivers. And He didn't say, I'll give you rivers in Akhirah, which means He will give here, and He will give there, for people who make istighfar. For people who make istighfar. SubhanAllah. Just do istighfar, and your rizq will increase. And do istighfar and then forget about it. Believe it. It's done. It's done. Now, the second reading of the same ayah is تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهَا بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ. يعني نقف هنا. نعطي ركعة. We stop here. the angels and Jibreel alayhi salam come down with the permission of their master, not just with commands, but they only come down to observe you and make dua with you. Can you imagine Jibreel alayhi, you're standing in salah, making dua, crying to Allah, and Jibreel alayhi salam is standing next to you making dua for you too? SubhanAllah. Allah sent them down in your company just so they can join you in ibadah. So they can join you. So you're making dua and they're making dua for you. You're making salah and they're making salawat for you. And if you read it that way, then what's left? مِن كُلِّ أَمْرٍ سَلَامٌ هِيَ. In every single thing you do, in every single matter, this night represents peace itself. Everything about this night will offer you peace. In every decision. In other words, this is the night to change the kinds of decisions you've been making in your life. And if you make the right decisions and the right kind of tawbah and the right change of direction in your life in this night, then everything that happens afterwards will be peaceful. You know, when we make changes in our life, there's a lot of turbulence. A lot of problems can happen. When you start making tawbah and say, I'm going to walk away from the liquor store. When you make tawbah and say, I'm not going to eat riba anymore. When you make tawbah and say, I'm going to stop going to these parties. Or I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop doing drugs. No more marijuana for me. I don't care if it's legal in Colorado. I don't care. No more for me. I'm done. I know my friends do it. I'm not going to do it anymore. If you do it any other time, it might come with a lot of challenges. If you do it in this night, if you make a good decision in this night, oh, this decision will be full of peace. And you will be safe from every direction. The urge will not come back. The addiction will not come back. You know, you will not feel weak to go back to the sin again. If you turn to Allah in this night, any decision you make, you'll find peace in that decision. مِن كُلِّ أَمْرٍ سَلَامٌ. مِن كُلِّ أَمْرٍ سَلَامٌ. Then the other reading, سَلَامٌ هِيَ حَتَّى مَطْلَعِ الْفَجْرِ. Meaning you separate this piece again, سَلَامٌ هِيَ حَتَّى مَطْلَعِ الْفَجْرِ. And that's also pretty incredible. This roughly translated, this night, it is peace. It is peace until the cracking of light of Fajr. Allah did not say حتى بداية الفجر, حتى شروع الفجر. No. حتى مطلع الفجر. الطلوع means the light is already visible. You know, Laylatul'Qader is such a rahmah from Allah that Allah, you know, it's different from when you break the fast. You know, or when you start your fast. When you start your fast, is it still dark outside? When you start your fast, right? You don't wait till like you see light outside, like, oh, I can see my car now. Okay, now I should stop eating. You don't do that. You actually stop eating while it is still dark. But when it's still dark, it's not called Matla'ul Fajr. When it's dark, it is not called Matla'ul Fajr. But Matla'ul Fajr is when light has already come out. The skies, the black of the sky is already going away. The sky is now turning from light blue to orange to its turning color. That's Matla'ul Fajr. In other words, Allah gave you even extra time in Laylatul Qadr. He didn't just stop it right at the time, as soon as Fajr hits. No. Hatta Matla'il Fajr. He give you time until then. Take advantage. Some people just say, oh, Fajr time will get too low. We're not done. No. There's still time. It's not Matla'ul Fajr yet. Keep taking advantage. So long as there's one little ounce of darkness outside, it's still Laylatul Qadr. It's still Laylatul Qadr. SubhanAllah. What a gift of Allah. How loving the language is. And then, you know, there are a couple other things we have to talk about here. Salamun hiya. Al-Arabiyya naqul hiya salam. We say it is peace. It is peace. But Allah said, peace it is. You know what that means? That means you will find peace in this night that is never found anywhere else. The kind of peace that you can get in this night, and that peace is better than how many? 83 years. Meaning that peace is good enough for the rest of your life and more. Isn't that true? So if you can find peace in this night, because this night is a special kind of peace that cannot be compared to any other peace, any other time, because this night is special because Quran came in this night. This night is special because the last speech of Allah to humanity came in this night. So Allah gave this night a special kind of peace. This is when Islam came down. So this became the night of Salam.
The religion that would give peace just became the night that human beings can find peace in their life, like no other night. Salamun hiya hatta matla'i al-fajr. Finally, I want to tell you that this is kind of a hard concept to explain. Then I can begin my talk. You don't say fiha salam. This night has peace in it. Allah didn't say that. Or in this night you will find peace. No. This night itself is peace. This night itself is peace. You know what that's a huge gift from Allah. If Allah said there is peace in this night, like if I said there's a treasure in this room. There's a treasure in this room. Is it guaranteed you'll find it or no? No, there's no guarantee. You might find it, you might not find it. You understand? But if I say this room is a treasure, are you experiencing it? You are. Okay, fine, make it easier for you. There's one seat in this room that is cool. Good luck. But if I say this room itself is cool, isn't everybody experiencing the coolness? Allah says the night itself is what? Peace. In other words, you don't say, I hope I find peace tonight. I hope I find where it is in this night. No. You're already in it. He already gave it to you. He already gave it to you. There's peace for every creation of Allah. Salamun hiya. Peace itself. SubhanAllah. Salamun hiya hatta matla'i al-fajr. Now, I want to come to Qadr. Well, the real reason I came here. To talk about Qadr. Because this is called Laylatul'Qader. The word Qadr in the Arabic language has three meanings. And the word Qadr in the surah also has three meanings. You have to try to remember all three of these meanings. By the way, how many times did Allah say the word Qadr in the surah? 3 times. And how many meanings does it have? 3 times. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ خَيْرٌ مِنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. So 3 words, 3 times repeated, and it also has 3 meanings. The first meaning of Qadr is calculation. Calculation from taqdeer. Taqdeer is calculation. Okay? Like وَالْقَمَرَ قَدَّرْنَاهُ مَنَازِلَ حَتَّى عَادَ كَالْعُرْجُونِ الْقَدِيمِ. In Surah Yasin, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, the moon, we gave calculation to its stages. You know, Allah calculated the stages of the moon. So that's taqdeer from Allah. وَقَدَّرْنَاهَا تَقْدِيرًا, Allah says. Now, the second meaning, so the first is calculation. The second meaning of Qadr is honor and respect. Sharaf wal manzila wal makana. You know, the nobility and respect. That's why they say ulu qadrihi in Arabic. How high his respect is. In Urdu speakers also say, "Main aapki badi qadar karta hu." Urdu speakers use this, right? I respect you a lot. Okay? So the word qadr means calculation, and the word qadr also means honor and respect. We'll try to remember that. The final meaning of qadr is power. The word qadr also means power. This is why we say, "Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir." Allah has complete power over everything. قَادِرٌ عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَخْلُقَ مِثْلَهُ. He has capability to create something like him too. In other words, Allah's capability and His power is also captured inside the word qadr, okay, or qadir. So 3 meanings. Let's see if you can remind me. What was 1, 2, and 3? What was 1? Calculation. What was 2? Respect. 3. Okay, I chose this order in order of importance. Why is this the night of calculation? Because everything you will do and get for the next year is calculated when? This night. This is the night of your qadr. This is the night when your qadr will change if you make the right dua and the right ibadah. This is why it's the night of qadr for you. You understand that point? That's one reason why this night is important. What was the second? This night is the night of honor and respect. Aren't human beings honored when Allah sent them Jibreel alayhi salam and the angels were coming down? Isn't that a special? When an important person comes to your house, isn't that respect for you? Isn't that an honor? When a alim travels from across the Atlantic Ocean to come visit us and speak at our masajid, aren't we honored that they came and visited us? Jibreel alayhi salam is coming from under the arsh of Allah. And the angels were coming behind him to visit us. Aren't we being honored tonight? And on top of that, human beings, by the way, the first revelation in Iqra' bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, what did Allah say about Himself? Iqra' wa rabbuka al-akram. Recite, and your master is the most noble. Meaning the Quran was given to you out of respect for you. No other creation of Allah received the Quran. You have the honor of receiving the Quran. This is the night when we were honored with the Quran. So this is the night of honor. Human beings were dignified and honored with the word of Allah tonight. Human beings found their own dignity tonight. This is the night. So it's the way when our destiny is calculated, and the night we get honored. And we got honored. The original honor was the coming of the Quran on this night. What was the third thing? I'll give you a small clue about the power. Allah gave us a small sample of how powerful this night is in this surah. What did He tell us? Laylatul'Qader khayrun min alfi shahr. So powerful that you do anything in this night and it's multiplied by at least 83 years. At least 1,000 months. At least. How much more we don't even know. Now look, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul'Qader. First ayah, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul'Qader. We sent the Quran, it down in Laylatul'Qader. We honored humanity. That's the first ayah is about the honor. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Laylatul'Qader. Laylatul'Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. The first ayah was about honor. The second ayah is about the power of Laylatul'Qadr. The second and third ayah, because that's the night that's not better than 1,000 months. Then what does Allah say? تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهَا بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ أَمْرٍ. Every decision, the angels come down with every decision of Allah. What is that? What do they come down with? The calculations that Allah made for every single person. So the honor and the power and the calculation, all three of them are in this surah, and that is why this night is more peace than any other night. Now we get to the final point, and probably the most, in my opinion, the most important point. My brothers and my sisters, my fathers, my mothers, my children, my younger brothers and sisters, please try to remember this. I try to remember it, and it humbles every human being. Just think about what happened that night. Think about the fact that almost 600 years went and there was no messenger. There was no messenger. Humanity was in darkness. Humanity was completely, utterly in darkness. There was no guidance, no revelation. The last messenger that came before Isa alayhi salam, his teachings of Tawheed were also turned into Tathlith. They were turned into a trinity. What came to be Tawheed was turned into Shirk. Every place was dark, and no place was darker than Makkah. The house built by Ibrahim alayhi salam was covered with idols. People are worshipping all kinds of wrong gods. Darkness upon darkness upon darkness. And then in the middle of that darkness, كَبَدْرٍ تَجَلَّى مِنْ بَيْنِ الْغَمَامِ, like a moon that comes out in the full moon that comes out in the middle of the night, like that. Allah decides to send His light. You know when you really appreciate light? When you've been in the dark for a long time. Allah could have sent the Quran during the day. He could have. He chose to send the Quran during the night. And the Quran is described as light. فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَالنُّورِ الَّذِي أَنزَلْنَا. Humanity was in the night, and Allah decided to bring them light. They were in the dark, and Allah decided to give them light that night. When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was in a cave, he was seeking for some light, he was looking for the answer, and Allah gave him Jibreel alayhi salam, and He made him leave. And those few minutes that he spent with Jibreel alayhi salam, that few minutes, that is when the entire future of humanity changed. The entire future of humanity was decided that night. This is it. You know, the biggest sign of the Day of Judgment is the revelation of the Quran, the appointment of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He is the biggest sign of Judgment Day. Actually, according to the Isharat in Surah Al-Rahman, there are two major events. The first major event was Allama al-Quran. He taught the Quran. And the only other major event left is when the sun and the moon. Judgment Day begins. وَالنَّجْمُ وَالشَّجَرُ يَسْجُدَانِ. When the stars and the tree make sajda. You know when the tree falls? All the trees are going to start falling. When is that going to happen? Judgment Day. When the stars are going to start falling. When is that going to happen? Judgment Day. So some ulama say وَالنَّجْمُ وَالشَّجَرُ يَسْجُدَانِ isn't just about dunya, it's about akhirah. So the first Allah says He taught the Quran, and the only major event left is the world coming to an end. So the world's destiny, the conclusion of humanity's journey was decided that night. We are part of the last chapter of human history. You and I. We're the last chapters of human history. That's it. And that night, we celebrate every single year. We celebrate what happened in that night. And what happened that night, wallahi, is very powerful. What the messenger was given, there has never been anything more powerful than what happened that night. We Muslims, I don't care how much you think we are weak. I don't care how much you think we have no influence. I don't care what you think of the state of the Ummah today. I tell you, we have something more powerful than any creation ever in the history of all creation. We have the Book of Allah that we celebrate tonight. This is the night of power. And if we don't seek this book, the Ummah will never have power. If we don't come back to this book, forget about power. There is no power. This is Laylatul'Qader because Quran was given. The powerful word of Allah was given. The angel who came with the quwwah. He was so powerful that he, just coming down with the Quran, I keep saying this over and over again in my talks, the entire sky got shut down. You know, for 23 years, the angels couldn't go into the jinn could not go into the sky. For 23 years. The jinn go in the sky all the time. For 23 years, it was locked down. They had to hang out on the earth. They were stuck. There were signs put up. They tried to go up, they start getting shot at. This is mentioned in Surah Al-Jinn. That's how powerful the Quran was. It blocked the entire skies down. And now we have it. We have it. But we don't understand its power. I don't appreciate its power. We think power lies in money, in government, in military. Power lies in, politics. Power lies in, some other entity or another. Power is in the word of Allah. مَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَقَوِيٌّ عَزِيزٌ. They didn't appreciate and realize the same word, qadar. مَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. They didn't calculate the true worth of Allah like He deserved to be appreciated. No doubt Allah is mighty. Allah is powerful. And He's the ultimate authority. This, I tell you, there is no more empowerment of a human being than when they internalize the word of Allah. There's nothing that will give you more power than that. And by the way, so that night, the calculations were made for all of human history, the future of humanity. That night, human beings were given the most powerful guidance they could ever be given. And that night also, human beings were dignified and honored more than any human being has ever been dignified and honored by means of giving our Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam the Quran. This Quran was given on that night, which means all three of those meanings have to do with the Quran. Our destiny, our future has to do with the Quran. How much this ummah holds on to this Quran. Our dignity as a people has to do with the Quran. And whether or not we become a powerful people has entirely to do with this Quran. This is Laylatul'Qader. And I told you in the beginning of my talk, if you can make the right decisions as a person in this night, the rest of your life is in peace. If we as an ummah can come back to Allah, come back to the Quran, in Laylatul'Qader, man, I tell you, the face of the ummah will change. We will look like a different nation. You won't recognize us on the 28th, the 30th of Ramadan, the 28th, the 25th, 26th. And which one of those odd nights it is, Allah only knows. But when Laylatul'Qadr is over, we're going to be a different ummah. Just like after that, humanity was never the same again. It was just never the same again. This is Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. As I conclude, I want to share with you just a small reflection about just how Allah talks about it in a couple more things. Did you know nowhere else in the Quran, whenever Allah asks the question, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا عِلِّيُّونَ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْعَقَبَةُ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا سِجِّينٌ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا يَوْمُ الدِّينُ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْفَصْلُ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا السَّقَرُ. Whenever he asks that question, he answers it. But when he answers it, he does not repeat the words itself. For example, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْحُطَمَةُ. What comes next? No, he doesn't say al-hutama, now he doesn't repeat the word hutama again. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ يَوْمَ يَقُولُ النَّاسُ. It shouldn't. You don't say al-qari'atu yawma yaqulu an-nas. You don't do that. In this surah, Allah did not say إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ
خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. No. He repeated it again, saying what? Laylatul'Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. Nowhere in the Quran is the word itself repeated over and over again, and nowhere in the Quran did Allah put that question that has to do with wahi itself. In other words, this cannot be compared to any other great creation of Allah. This gift of Allah, this night of Allah that He created, so He could put revelation of Quran in it, cannot be compared to anything else, even in the whole Quran. It stands alone. It stands by itself. 3 times. Even we don't even say وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ. We say فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ. We don't say مَا هَاوِيَةٌ. We don't repeat the word هَاوِيَةٌ. We just say مَا هِيَ. Allah did not say here وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ. He repeated Laylatul'Qader, Laylatul'Qader, Laylatul'Qader. Why? They say Allah akad wa aqwa min al-dhamir. When you mention it, it is way more powerful than the pronoun. Allah wanted you to hear Laylatul'Qader, Laylatul'Qader, Laylatul'Qader 3 times over in this short surah. He wanted you to hear this over and over again so you internalize how important Qadr is in the life of a Muslim and how important this night is in the life of a Muslim. Ya Rabb. And all of it going back to Allah's book. Now the real question is, who of us will seek dignity after this month is done with Allah's book? Who of us is going to seek strength from Allah's book? Who of us is going to understand that their entire destiny, their entire future is dependent on their relationship with Allah's book? Who is going to do that? If you do that, that means you're finding peace in your life. That means chances are you found Laylatul'Qadr. If nothing changed in your life, then you probably didn't find Laylatul'Qadr. If you go back to normal, because you know what we do at Eid, right? You know what we do at Eid. Eid is our celebration that obedience to Allah is finally over. I'm just telling it like it is, okay? So you've been holding off on watching movies, man, Ramadan. You know, you got your iPhone and your iTunes start playing the song automatically when it connects to Bluetooth. Pause it, Ramadan, yo. Put on instead. But it's Eid, man! Dude, how many episodes did I miss? Oh my God, they came out with that movie already? I wasn't even keeping up. God, thank God Shaitan is back. You go back to normal again? You go back to what you were again? That means that one message, that one night, that changed the future of all of humanity, you didn't find it. Because if you found it, you would have changed. That night changed all of humanity. That changed the course of the entire civilizations of the world. The map of the world would not look the same if it wasn't for that night. It would not look the same. Your life and mine would not be the same if it wasn't for that night. And if that night is not enough for you to change, it's nothing's missing in the night, something is missing in you. You didn't catch it. You didn't catch it. Or you didn't realize what it was. Maybe that's why Allah says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Laylatul'Qadr. Do you have any clue what Laylatul'Qadr actually is? Do you have any idea? Did you even realize what it does? Maybe you didn't realize what this is. Allah would not repeat this just so you get some thawab and go home. Eat some pakora in the morning or in the evening and you're done. Laylatul'Qadr is over. No. Laylatul'Qadr is the night when the ummah changes, where every believer changes. I make sincere dua this year, the next year, the next year, the next year, that we continue to find Laylatul'Qadr and we continue to become the people Allah wants us to become through this profound book. I pray that this is a year in which your understanding of the Quran increases, your love of the Quran increases, your recitation of the Quran increases, your memorization of the Quran increases, your tajweed of the Quran increases, your sharing of the Quran with your family increases, your sharing of the Quran with non-Muslims increases, your appreciation and your view of the world changes you just see the world through the ayat of the Quran as your relationship progresses. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us of the people of this book. May Allah Azza wa Jal make this Quran a testimony and a witness in our favor and not against us. And I pray that Allah Azza wa Jal have all of us find Laylatul'Qadr before our time is up in this month. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-Hakim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Just do sincere istighfar. There's no how to. Just do it. Just say astaghfirullah. Say the beloved hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni ya afu. Make the dua sincerely. Dua is not about which words you. I'm talking to Desi right now.